I'm gonna tell you something I've never told anyone. 30 years ago, my friends and I spent the night at a cabin. We found the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. Certain passages were recited. It awoke something in the woods. Something evil. I was the only one to escape. But now, the evil has found me.
Hello and welcome to the Ash vs. Evil Dead podcast. This is a podcast in which we journey through the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series, which is currently airing on Starz and just about to wrap up in another week or two. Of course, we are recording these a little bit early before you actually hear them. This show is, of course, inspired by the Evil Dead franchise, which is a huge franchise when you talk about horror fans, because for some reason, everybody seems to love it. I mean, it is awesome, but there's more of a love for Evil Dead than there is for a lot of other franchises. It's almost like second to Halloween. People love Michael Myers. People love Bruce Campbell and Evil Dead, especially Evil Dead 2. So the concept behind this podcast is just two dudes kind of giving you our thoughts on the TV series episode by episode. This week we are doing episode 5, which is The Host. But before we get into that, I am your host, JP, and joining me tonight, my co-host, or today, we're actually recording the day this time, is Mr. Kyle Thomas. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? What's up? How you doing today?
Not the best after our just recent fiasco. We decided, hey, we're going to catch up on, we're going to get ahead on the X-Files show, and we're going to record an episode today. Of course, I've been having like the worst luck with these Skype recorders, man. We lost the whole episode, 45 minutes down the drain. It's one of the most like frustrating things because you're just like, what the fuck? You know, what do we do? You know? And I hate it.
And actually, that was like probably one of our better episodes that we've recorded. I mean, I'm not mad at all about it. It's just one of those things where technology sucks ass.
It's frustrating.
And so
it's frustrating, man.
But you know, we kind of took a break from the X-Files for now. We're gonna go back to it, and figured we'd go ahead and get it. You know, kind of clear our minds and talk a little bit about Ash versus Evil Dead, which you know, I'm kind of happy to because this episode right here I really did like. So we'll kind of, you know, hopefully get over that. That was JP's Christmas present to me because it is Christmas Day. We're recording this on. It was that we didn't record the episode, but I'm not mad at JP. I still love the guy. He's kind of dumb, but you know, I kind of have to roll with the punches a little bit.
It's like you just get stabbed in the stomach every time something like that happens. I can't stand it. But you know, guys, you can please check us out in all the places. We are part of the Horrorphile network. Check that out. A lot of great podcasts. A couple new podcasts debuting in 2016, which is awesome. 22 shots of moods and horror.com. iTunes. Subscribe to us, rate us, review us. We would be super stoked if you guys did that. Really helps the show out. And, you know, all the other places. Facebook, 22 shots of moods and horror in the group page. The group page is awesome. And, of course, Kyle, the Horrorphile, and my channel on YouTube, DoubleShotJ.
Yeah, definitely. Check us out. We upload, like AP said, every episode of this to each of our channels. And you can, you know, check us out on iTunes as well. Leave us some comments, leave us some love. We want to know, because I mean, this Ash vs. Evil Dead, we're already halfway done with it after this episode, so we only have 4 more episodes, and then the season will be over. So let us know what you think. I really personally myself would like to hear feedback about these, because that lets me know whether or not you guys want us to do the second season, which we were planning on doing, which they have already announced.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee. Like, for example, if this show does awful, then we won't even come back. So
exactly,
it's up to you guys.
So it's up to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. If you guys like us kind of reviewing these episodes, you know, we're kind of giving a synopsis of the episode and just kind of giving you guys our thoughts. So definitely let us know what you guys have been thinking. We'll kind of get into the episode, kind of jump into it, because we don't want to make these episodes too long. These are 25-minute episodes. So this is season 1, episode 5 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. This episode's called The Host. It was directed by David Franzi and written by Zoe Green. Which I don't know if Zoe Green's a woman or a man, but
I actually don't know either. But she or he has literally done nothing but this show. So this is their first project, and which is huge, right? I mean, to get on
really
Ash vs. Evil Dead right away, working with Sam Raimi and the boys, that's pretty cool. And of course, the director of this episode did actually direct the previous episode, which was Broho. So he actually did that. He did a bunch of other TV shows: Continuum, Orphan Black, Rogue, Flashpoint, Endgame, The Da Vinci's Inquest. Nothing that I'm too familiar with, but he has directed a few other things, and never really wrote anything. He did a lot of cinematography work, though.
Yeah, and this episode was also originally aired November 28th of 2015, so right around a month ago this aired. You want to go and get into the viewership?
Yeah, viewership is right around where we were last week. It did decline a little bit. Last week we had 448,000 viewers, and this week we had 430,000 viewers. So just a slight decline, nothing too major, which is pretty normal for a TV show in its 5th episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like so far we've gained, pretty much been gaining. We had a lot of viewership, obviously, for the pilot. Most pilots get a lot of viewership. Lost a little bit a couple episodes after, then gained all of them back.
It is weird how that played out. That's not normally how it goes. So we're just, 7,000 viewers down from the pilot, which isn't that bad, honestly.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. So... But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the host and kind of give you guys an idea of what it's about. So kind of get in the episode, it picks up exactly where the last episode left off again. There's a huge, and what I was going to actually talk to JP about before the episode. These episodes are starting to have a similar feel to them every single episode. Mm-hmm. Leaves you off with a cliffhanger, picks up like I said, these episodes can go in conjunction with each other. Like they could play this like a movie and it would be like perfect. So it picks up exactly where the ending of the last episode left off, like right at the ending of the last episode. So
Ash is they now have Ash tied up with his mouth taped up, and the Broho uncle. What is his name? Do you know his name?
Brujo.
Brujo.
Yeah, that's what they call it. I don't know what his they gave his name, but they only said his name a couple of times. They kept calling him Brujo.
Okay, so the uncle actually is doing all these different rituals and stuff on Ash. Meanwhile, you have Pablo and Kelly sort of hanging out, and we know, the audience, that Kelly is actually possessed, and it's not Ash, but the characters think that it is Ash because he was attacking Kelly at the end of the previous episode. Yep. So Kelly is possessed, and she is sort of acting a little flirty towards Pablo, and Pablo's sort of digging it because he thinks, it's really Kelly or whatever. And Kelly's trying to get turned up a little bit, and she finds some marijuana. She starts smoking, and Pablo is very uncomfortable. So what else is going on here, Kyle?
Yeah, so they start smoking weed. Pretty much you can tell that Kelly is still possessed by this demon. Pablo and her kind of go to the, Ash is tied up. The demon's being exorcised. The Brujo is trying to get the demon out of Ash. They think it's in Ash. It's actually in Kelly. Kelly actually, as being, basically has this demon in her, wants to kill Pablo, so they start smoking weed out of a shotgun. Kelly puts
it in, which is hilarious because she sends Pablo to get a pipe, right? Yeah. She's like, find me a pipe now or whatever, and he rolls out, and then by the time he gets back, she's sitting there, kind of bra hanging out, legs spread open, very seductive looking, right? And she's smoking out of this shotgun. She got the barrel, uncocked, and she has it's a double barrel, and she has the weed in one end, and she's smoking out of it. Has Pablo come sit down next to her, and you can tell he's really uncomfortable, and he's like, I don't think this is the best idea, and of course he likes her, so he's kind of willing to go the extra mile to show her that I'll chill with you or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean,
funny scene, funny stuff.
Super funny scene. Like she's like basically trying to seduce him. The demon knows. I guess this demon can pretty much read Kelly's mind, how things are going. She's trying to seduce him. She puts the shotgun in his mouth and basically shows her true form because Pablo doesn't want to smoke it. Shows her true form at this point. Pablo's like, oh shit, and kind of scared. All the while this is going on, Ash finally, while the Brujo is trying to exorcise this demon out of him, finally gets his mouth is tied up. He actually gets that off and tells him, he's like, the demon's with Pablo. You better go help him. I'm not the demon. So they kind of run into the camper, and then this is kind of where Ash gets his chainsaw back on, his chainsaw hand on. He gets his boomstick back and starts kind of kind of threatening the demon, and then he finds out they go back into the Brujo's house, tie up Kelly, and they start trying to exorcise the demon out of Kelly at this point. A funny quote that I actually wrote down. I always write down quotes that Bruce Campbell says in this show because I find some of them to be so funny.
Some are hilarious.
Yeah, the when he walked into the camper and saw Pablo and Kelly there, and Kelly was the demon, he actually by accident shoots a hole in the top of the camper, and he says, "God damn it, I just taped her up."
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was fucking
it was
cheesy
hilarious.
and funny.
Yeah, because wasn't it in the first episode he shot a hole in there?
Yeah, he shot a hole in the first episode, and they had it taped up, I guess, with duct tape. And it's the funny part about it was when he shot the hole in the top of the camper, he looks down, it shows a top down view from where the hole is, and it shows his face looking up at the hole. And he's like, "God damn it, I just taped her up."
It's hilarious.
It's just fucking funny. But at this point, Kelly starts begging Ash to kill her. She's like, "Yeah, this isn't going to be, this isn't going to be the only way that you're going to get rid of this demon is if you kill me." And Ash is like, "Hell no, I'm not going to kill you." Something we forgot to mention was that it does show a scene toward the beginning of the episode where Ruby, Ruby's character, she has Ash's hand, is driving with Amanda the cop, and the hand is kind of pointing in the direction where to go. So we know that Ash's hand is trying to get back to him at this point.
Yes.
So I thought that was a pretty interesting.
They're kind of using the hand as a compass almost, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and obviously, Ruby doesn't even. That's the only time they appear is within 3 minutes of the episode. So her character still isn't really a main character at this point. Mm-hmm. The demon, as they're trying to exorcise this demon, like I said, Kelly's begging Ash to kill her. The demon grabs Pablo, and basically grabs Pablo out of Kelly's mouth, a hand comes out of Kelly's mouth, grabs him, and then the demon comes out of Kelly's mouth, the actual demon. It's the same demon from the previous episodes, the one that looks like the one from Hellraiser. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the Brujo goes up to the demon trying to, exorcise, trying to get rid of the demon, and the demon kills the Brujo. He basically hits him, and Brujo gets impaled. So Pablo's uncle's dead at this point.
Yeah, which I was like, damn.
Yeah, and I kind of liked his character in a way. He was mysterious, and he was.
It just felt like a weird way to kill him off because it was just it wasn't a big moment. It was just subtle. And I was
it was kind of he hit him, he gets impaled, and then Pablo's like, no, and then that's it.
It felt like it should have been a bigger deal than it was. What I'm just saying. So Pablo kind of is willing to sacrifice himself.
Pablo wants to sacrifice himself for Kelly. Oh, this is before the demon comes out. Wanted to sacrifice himself for Kelly. That's when the demon grabbed him and came out and killed the Brujo. Ash grabs his gun, his weapons, and ends up killing the demon, or at least what we think possibly killed the demon. Blows the demon's head off, and all this goo goes everywhere. So at this point in time, we don't know. We see Ash kill the demon, but at the same time, we don't know if the demon's 100% dead yet. This demon could show up again. So, toward the end of the episode, the Brujo, they actually put Pablo's uncle, they put him on this stack of wood and kind of cremate him. And this scene reminded me very, very heavily of when they did this to Darth Vader in Star Wars. They put, Darth Vader in the end of Return of the Jedi on that wood. It looks kind of like a wood housing, and then they set the wood housing on fire. It looks exactly like how they cremated the Brujo. They just lay him on top of this bed of wood, and they just set it on fire. Which I guess that's a way to let your spirit. I don't know. I think there's something in real life that the reason why they do that to some people.
It's just a symbolic type of way to go out.
Exactly. And then, toward the end of the episode here, Kelly's kind of trying to remember what happened, when she was possessed. She doesn't remember what happened, has no idea. And then they give Ash his new hand. So you see Ash get his new hand that Pablo and Kelly, well, mainly Pablo, built for him and puts it on, and he is stoked.
Yeah, so now we don't have to have Ash struggling, the actor, Bruce Campbell struggling to like hide the hand. We got to hide the hand, and the writers and stuff, because essentially all it is a glove, right?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's like it looks like it's like a metal like glove, basically. They just
well,
like gave
I mean,
Campbell.
in the episode, it's more than that, but like out in behind the scenes, he's just wearing a glove. Now.
Yeah, he probably, honestly, as an actor, I don't blame him. He probably complained about having to hide his right hand.
Yeah, I just think it would be annoying, right? It's just an annoyance. So let's just handle that, get that out of the way. That's one less thing we have to worry about. Let's focus on the show.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of this episode. It wasn't really a long episode. This actually was a shorter. I was surprised because it was like 5 or 6 minutes shorter than the previous episodes, I believe. From what I remember downloading the episodes, I remember them being like 30 minutes long, right at. This one was like 25 or 24 or something like that, so it wasn't long at all. Yeah. But we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about it. I mean, what did you...
Yeah, well, I think the one thing that I noted right away was it felt like Ash was taped up too long. Like, you got your star of the show taped, tied up with his mouth taped. Like, he's not saying anything. He's just mumbling stuff. Like he's your comedy, man. Like, let's hurry that scene along a little bit. So that was, I felt like that was like just kind of dumb almost to do that to your, that's where all the jokes are coming from. Don't fucking have his mouth taped shut. And then I also really, really did enjoy just the awkward, uncomfortable scene of Pablo and Kelly as Kelly is trying to like get Pablo to smoke out of the gun. Of course, Kelly's possessed by a demon, and she has a shotgun shell, and she's going to slide it in there and have Pablo shoot himself in the face or shoot Pablo in the face. I thought the only problem with that scene, though, it plays great because it really is funny because Pablo, obviously, super into Kelly, so you can tell that he's not like a bad boy at all. Yeah. And he's like, weed makes me very paranoid, I don't really want to smoke, stuff like that. And he's like just way too like straight edged. And as this character, she's kind of edgy with the demon possessing her and stuff. But the one problem I had with the scene, although it plays great and it's great for comedy's sake, it just makes zero sense. Yeah. And the reason it makes zero sense is because if she has the shotgun and she has the shotgun shell and he walks in the room, she could have just shot him, as the demon could have just killed him. It makes no sense for the character to sit there and play this game like, oh, I'm going to sneakily put this bullet in here and shoot you. Like, that makes zero sense, right?
I agree 100%. I mean, it did the scene itself, and honestly, that scene kind of dragged on a little bit because it was a lot of small talk on that scene that had nothing to do with the episode. You do get to see their relationship, or how Pablo feels about Kelly kind of start to bloom. But you also kind of realize that Pablo's kind of an idiot, to be honest with you. Like, he is like on the same level almost as Ash, because he's just an awkward, like, he doesn't understand that, he just kind of went with this. Like, he just thought Kelly was being like this, like being like a slut to him. He actually thought that was her, but he knows her. It just kind of shows you that Pablo is kind of a knucklehead too. Yeah. And a funny part about this scene that I wanted to mention is when Kelly was like, once you smoke this, you can kiss me wherever you want. And then he's like, can I kiss you right here? And he pointed to her forehead.
He just like puts 2 fingers on her forehead.
She's like, that's where you want to kiss me? And he's like, yeah, why not? They always look over that part or something. He's like, they always overlook that part. She's like, okay, whatever.
Oh yeah, that is a great scene because it just shows like how Pablo is like you almost expect the chick character to be like fag.
Yeah, I mean? Like, what the hell? Like, even the demon and like that was inside of her was like, what the hell?
Yeah, like the demon is like, this is fucked up. This guy's a pussy.
This guy's a puss.
Yeah, that's a great scene, man. Great scene there. You're right. I mean, it is this episode is definitely a lot of filler. It's just a lot of character development. It's just the main point of this episode is to express more feelings of Pablo's love for Kelly, and that's kind of it, really. There's not a whole lot more that's progressing the story. It's to eventually get the demon back out of Kelly. Kind of wraps up that little story arc, and then we move on. Ash gets his hand. That's kind of it. Pablo's uncle dies. And that's basically your episode.
Yeah, I would say this. I mean, if I was to rate this episode, I'd give it a mid-tier rating. I didn't really feel like that there was really much. I mean, other than the Brujo dying, which obviously he wasn't even a main character. He was only in 2 episodes. That really didn't matter. It didn't make any difference to the storyline that his character would have lived or died. I mean, if he would have lived, maybe it would have, but it didn't really make any difference that he died. Kelly just having it felt like super filler to me, like you're saying. Like they just were like, okay, let's make an episode where Kelly gets possessed, and then we're going to get the demon out of Kelly, and then Ash is going to kill it. These episodes are starting, and I do love this show so far, but these episodes they're very. Each episode basically has something happening where Ash has to kill a demon. That's what every kind of linear thing for so far these first 5 episodes. It's like a bunch of bad shit happens, Ash kills the demon, and then that's it. It's like happening in every episode, and I'm cool with that because I like seeing Ash in action. But it is, I think they're trying to give these filler episodes, like throw them in there so they can come up with more storyline for the rest of the series.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is filler at the same time, but the character development is important because, like, you take this stuff for granted because it doesn't seem that important at the time. But if you would just cut this episode out and then season 2 or whatever, like Pablo and Kelly kiss or something, it wouldn't feel as important. So these are important. They're just they're kind of like hidden important. Like you don't realize they're important unless you don't have them.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, and honestly, there wasn't really, in this episode, I will say this as well, there really wasn't much character development at all. Like, I mean, you see Pablo, which you already knew he had feelings for Kelly, you see that kind of flourish, but that's pretty much it. Like, there really wasn't anything.
Yeah, but you need to see it acted out. Like
you do need to see it acted out.
Just because you know that he has feelings, you have to keep being reminded of the type of feelings that he has.
Yeah.
Or else it doesn't seem as genuine when eventually stuff happens to those characters in the future.
Well, I think what I'm saying is, like, that's the only thing in this specific episode. That was the only thing that we really saw was that little bit of character development with Pablo and Kelly. And honestly, it wasn't really much character development toward Kelly because she didn't know what was going on. It was mainly you get to see more of Pablo being basically overly obsessed with Kelly and like liking her and having feelings toward her. So I would give it a mid-tier rating. So far, most of these episodes for me are mid-tier ratings, other than the pilot. So it wasn't a bad episode. It definitely kept me entertained. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
What did you think?
I also will give it a mid-tier rating. I thought that the comedy in this one worked really well, but at the end of the day, not really much happens. It doesn't really push the story along. There's just a little nudge, and they kind of just wrap up a few ends, and that's basically your episode. So with that said, I guess we're going to get out of here for this week. Ash vs. the Evil Dead episode 5. Not a bad episode, but definitely not the best episode. You have anything else to say, Kyle?
No, I will say that, in this episode, something else to kind of get back into it really quick was I did enjoy, the way that the demon looked, like being inside Kelly. I thought it was a really, creepy thing, like the way that she looked and they made her makeup and everything. Yeah, I thought that was really, really, really creepy. And I liked the whole goo thing whenever Ash kills the demon. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree.
She's pretty hot as a slutty demon.
Yeah, she really is. I think she's pretty hot, honestly, in real life. She seems like she's very pretty. So, but yeah, we'll wrap it up. Check out the next episode. We'll be doing season 1, episode 6, The Killer of Killers. Until next time, I am the Horrorphile Kyle, and that is JP, DoubleShotJ. Check us out on our YouTube channels where we upload all these episodes, and on our iTunes feed. So, peace.
Peace out.